I have tried to film this video like 3 or 4 times now, and it's just not happening. Hey guys, so today I'm gonna be telling you guys all about my pregnancy story. So to start, we need to backtrack all the way to the beginning, to when I met the father of my child. His name is Tony, and we've actually known of each other, I guess, since the 8th grade, but we didn't actually meet until, or we didn't actually become friends until sophomore year of high school. We met in Spanish class, and the very first day he got in trouble and he got sent out of the class. I don't know if that's relevant. So he actually ended up becoming like my best friend. We would hang out all the time, but not just with each other, we would hang out with other people. We had a group of friends that we were all very close. Throughout sophomore year, he would always try to be more than friends, I guess. And I just never wanted that. I can't lie, like I did like him, but he just didn't seem like he was ready for a relationship, and I had never been in a serious relationship at that point, so it just kind of made me nervous. So I was not ready, and we were still best friends. So junior year of high school came, and I started talking to this guy, and he ended up becoming my boyfriend. And I remember that when we actually talked for like 2 months before he actually asked me to be his girlfriend. When Tony found out I was talking to this guy, that day he had bought me some film for my Polaroid, and it was very sweet of him, but he was gonna give it to me before class, and he kind of just threw it at me and didn't say anything, and I figured that he had found out that I was talking to somebody else. So me and this guy ended up dating for over a year. It was at the end of junior year that we started officially dating, and then we dated all the way through senior year. And during that time, me and Tony stopped being friends because my boyfriend did not like Tony. He knew that Tony liked me, so he just wasn't cool with us talking, and so, I respected that. I was like, that's fine. I did not talk to him throughout my relationship. So I remember we would see each other in the hallways and just kind of like glance and then just walk away, and it was very awkward. Then senior year came to an end. We graduated, and I remember that me and my boyfriend were starting to have problems. I mean, we had problems the entire relationship. We argued a lot. That's just a whole nother story. So June came, and I had gotten a job after graduation. I used to work at a recreation center when we lived in Columbus, Georgia. What I didn't know was that Tony used to go play basketball there with his friends. And I was obviously always there because I worked there. And then the first day at the job, he walked in with his best friend, who was also my friend, and I did not talk to him. I talked to his friend, and we just went about our day. At that point, I was still in a relationship. So me and Tony actually ended up having a conversation because I was talking to his friend, and he just joined the conversation, and it was all very casual. That night we both went to one of our friends' house who was leaving to California for vacation for like a month or two. So I remember that he Snapchatted me the day after, and I'm not sure what he said, but that was the very first interaction we had in like a year of not talking. And I still had a boyfriend, but me and my boyfriend, we hadn't talked in like a week. We were having problems, and I was just fed up. So me and my boyfriend ended up breaking up, and then me and Tony started hanging out a lot more. So from the time that me and my boyfriend broke up to the time that I got pregnant, it was very short, but that's just how it happened. Me and Tony were hanging out a lot throughout that summer, and August came, and my mom told me that she was moving to Miami, and that, you know, she asked me if I wanted to go with her because I was actually planning to study to go to college in Columbus. She was like, I'm moving in September, and I only had like 3 weeks to pack, and so I decided to come with her because I just didn't want to be without my mom, and I didn't really have anybody in Columbus. But me and Tony were starting to get more serious. So September came, and I had packed everything, and Tony was actually going to come with me for a couple of days to Miami just to visit, and you know, it's a little vacation. When we first got to Miami, we were staying in a hotel while we got the house that we're living in now, me and my mom and her boyfriend and my sister. And so Tony was there for a couple of days, and then he was going to return to Columbus, and we were actually planning, I wasn't planning on staying in Miami for a long time. I was just planning to get a job, and then we were planning on moving to Atlanta together, but Tony had no plans of moving to Miami with me because I just did not want to live here. So Tony ended up leaving September 9th, and I was supposed to get my period September 17th, and I remember because that was the day of my sister's birthday, and I had just started keeping track of my period. So I actually ended up missing my period that day, but I never really got my period like the day that it was supposed to come. It was always like 1 day off, 2 days off, and sometimes I would even miss a whole month. But since me and Tony hadn't used any sort of protection, we didn't use condoms, I was not on birth control, and so I had a feeling that I was pregnant. A week after, when I was a week late, we went to Disney World, me and my family. I remember I was kind of skeptical to get on the rides because it says pregnant women shouldn't ride. So then my period didn't come that week, and it didn't come the week after, and then I ended up taking a pregnancy test. I told my mom I was going to get some ice cream with my sister or something, and I ended up going to the pharmacy, and I came home and took the test. And the test came out with one very dark line, and the other line was very, very faint. And so I took that as a negative. So then the next morning, I took another test, and I had told Tony that, you know, I thought that I was pregnant. He was the one to actually buy the test. So the next morning I took the other one, the same thing happened, so I decided to Google it, and everywhere it said that even if there's a faint line, it means that you are most likely pregnant. And so I freaked out, and I didn't tell my mom or anybody really. So another week went by, and I actually decided to tell my mom. And that day I was feeling very emotional. I was just crying for no reason, and she noticed that something was wrong, and she asked me what was wrong, and I immediately started crying, and I told her, you know, my period is 3 weeks late and I think I might be pregnant. And she said, that's okay, we'll get you a test today. She was very, very supportive. I did not expect that at all. You know, like any other young parent, you're like expecting your parents to yell at you or whatever, but she was very good about it. And so we went to eat that day, and then that night we got a test, and I came home and it was positive. It immediately gave me a positive as soon as I took it. I went and hid in my closet. I don't know why. My mom came in my room and was like, you're pregnant. And I said, yeah. And so she was like, you know, everything's gonna be okay, you did what you did, but you can't go back now. And she was very good about it. She's been like my #1 best friend through all of this. I told Tony that I was pregnant that night, so he decided that he was going to move to Miami and get a job here, and we would just figure it out, because at that point I didn't want to leave my family. I didn't want to be pregnant without any support. I decided to stay here for a while, and yeah, now I'm 36 weeks pregnant, and this is the bump. So yeah, here we are. As you can see, my belly button is barely there. but I'm feeling great. But yeah, there's a lot more to that story, but I feel like if I told everything, this video would be like 2 hours long. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.